All right, hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hey Guys. This time we're working in Inventor. We're making some of these PLTW parts. You can see I have the first shape that they have you create already on my screen. I'm going to show you how to make the next one that we normally do. I'm going to go to New. I'm going to go to New so that I can make sure that I set my templates properly. I want to make this an English standard part file. I'm going to go to Create. All right, now I got a blank screen. I'm going to go to my Start Sketch. I'm going to be working from the front view, so I'm going to use the XY plane. And I'm going to grab a line tool. I could either grab the line tool up here on the ribbon, or I can right click and go Create Line. I always like to start my shapes right on the origin. That way it's grounded to the origin. And I'm not going to worry about how long I'm making these lines. I'm going to just kind of draw out the general shape. What I am going to pay attention to are the constraints that Inventor is automatically applying. In this case, I can see that I have a vertical constraint. That's what that funny little little box that's kind of just to the right of my end of my line is, and I can also see I have 90 degrees. So I'm going to click there. That's good. I'm going to come out here, make sure I'm at 90 degrees. I can see that now I have a perpendicular constraint. That's what I want. I want a 90-degree corner, and I want this line to be perpendicular to the first line. Go ahead and click, bring it up, looking for that perpendicular again. Going to come across, looking for that perpendicular. Now, when I get down here, you can see that this magical line just showed up. What that line is it's just Inventor is showing me as a reference that says, hey, you're perfectly in line with that line that you drew before. Is that what you want? So we can make sure, and yes, in fact, that is what I want. This part is fairly symmetrical, and at least in its early stages. And I do want that because that's going to save me from having to add an extra dimension later. I'm going to pull across. You can still see that it's showing me that line, showing me that this new line that I'm making is collinear with that first line. It's exactly what I want. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to drop that down. I'm just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to not make this one perpendicular. Now, as I come over here, I can see that I get that little line showing up right there. Well, I don't want that line. I don't want to be collinear with that line above, and because I can see from my drawing that those are not supposed to line up. So it is my intent, and Inventor always operates on the idea of design intent, to not have this next line that I'm about to draw be collinear with the line above. So I'm going to come back a little bit, come up. I'm going to go ahead and make that perpendicular. I'm going to draw another perpendicular across. You can see here that it gives me that collinear indicator right there. I don't want that, like I said before, but I am perpendicular to that first line. I do want that. Come down here to the x-axis. I'm going to make sure that I'm 90 degrees perpendicular. Hit that and come back to the origin. When I hit back over the origin, it lights up yellow. That's where I want to end. And as you can see, I've created a enclosed shape because as I pull my line tool away, I still have my line tool. There's no line being created. All right, so I'm going to let go of that line tool, right click OK. Now, to fix this line right here, I can fix that one of two ways. I can either come up here and grab a perpendicular tool constraint, and I can put that perpendicular constraint on there, or let me undo that, or I can come back here and I can grab a vertical constraint, and as long as I'm not on the midpoint of the line, which is where that green dot is, I can apply that perpendicular or that vertical constraint, and that'll also straighten it up. All right, either way, I'm fine with either way you do it. All right, so now that I've got my general shape down, let's go ahead and start adding some dimensions. We can grab dimension from the top. We can also right click. Now, it's a good rule to always dimension your longest lengths. So I'm going to start by dimensioning this overall length. Since it's not one continuous line, I need to click on this line first, drag over to this line, and then come back into the middle. When I come back into the middle, it gives me the distance between those two lines. That's what I want. I'm going to drag that down. I'm going to click again on that number, and that number should be 4. So I'm going to hit 4. And then, oh boy, I can't see my my drawing anymore. So I'm just going to click on the front view on the view cube, and that's going to show me my drawing again. It's going to fit it to the window. Still got the dimension tool. Now this time I want to get my overall height. So here's the bottom of my shape. Now I can travel inside up to this line and then move back down in between and pull it back out. All right, so we're going from line to line, staying within the object, pulling it out. Click again, and this should be 2.5. So 2.5, hit enter, and now I have my overall dimensions. All right, now I can start dimensioning some of my smaller lines. This way I can just click right on the line, pull it out. This should be 1.5. Enter. This should be right here. This should be, I think, 2. Enter. This dimension should be 1. Shape starting to show up. You can see that when I dimension this line, that it automatically, because these have a collinear constraint, pulled this one up, so I don't need to dimension this anymore. I can dimension here, pull this down, and this should be 0.5, so 0.5. And this is 2. Oh, I'm sorry, 3. Now I also could have just dimensioned this. It doesn't matter either way. And then finally, one more dimension needed. That's this one, and that's going to be 0.5. 0.5, enter, and now I can see down at the bottom of my screen, Inventor is telling me that I'm fully constrained. All right, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to click Finish Sketch. Oh, drawing went right out of my view again. Hit the Home button. All right, now I'm going to extrude this out. So I'm going to grab it. Inventor thinks that I only want 1 inch. I'm going to change that to 2.5. So you can see when it's still highlighted, you can just start typing. You don't need to click anything. You don't need to backspace. You can just start typing what you want. All right, that looks really good. All right, I have one more thing that I need to add to this. So I'm going to be doing another sketch. Inventor allows you to draw only on a plane, so all the flat surfaces on an object are also a plane. I'm going to be drawing right on that plane right there. All right, for this one, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and I'm going to do just like we did before, where we dimensioned as we created it. So as I pull it out, I'm going to dimension, this first dimension is 1.5, and then I hit the tab key, T-A-B as in boy, tab key over, and then this is pretty narrow, so it's 0.25. All right, thin little guy right there. Now, I know I need a couple more dimensions here. Oh, let's let go of the tool. So Inventor is telling me I need 2 dimensions. The problem is right now that I don't have this rectangle located. It doesn't know where it needs to be. So I'm going to dimension from this line over to this line and pull that down where I can see it a little bit better. And that should be 0.5. Hit enter. And then I'm going to dimension from this line here on the top to the top of the rectangle. Slide that out where I can see it a little bit better. And that should be 0.75. And now I can see that Inventor tells me I'm fully constrained. I can finish sketching. I can go to extrude. I'm going to extrude just that little rectangle. It makes like a diving board right there. I don't want it that long. I just want it 0.75. Hit enter, and there we go. Just exactly the way it's intended to be. All right, thanks guys. Hope you learned a little something on this, and thanks for tuning in.